Welcome to the Sunday Morning Jitters podcast, your one-stop shop for fantasy, spreads, news, and analysis.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Morning Jitters podcast, the Week 3 preview edition. There was supposed to be a week 2 recap, but that may or may not have been fucked up by myself, so we're just going to go ahead and move on past that. Nothing, there was a pretty gruesome joke that was made in there that got cut out, but we're not going to talk about any of that. We're just going to keep it moving, man. Joined by the usual suspects here. We got BJ in the top left corner.
Hello, guys. Thanks for another, week. Excited, sad that y'all didn't get to see the last episode. It was a banger, but we're back here again, so we're gonna do it again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we got Derek up in the top right corner.
How y'all doing? So sorry I missed last Thursday's podcast, but I was at a wedding. But you would have heard that the man over here didn't mess up the the audio. But it's all good. Like I said, I'm glad to be back.
Look, I blame noise gates, okay? It's not my fault. The noise gates are just too powerful. When you come straight off the base settings, it's too much. You gotta tinker with that shit. I should have tinkered. Oh man, it was a pretty interesting week, huh? Pretty interesting week of games.
It was
a lot of news that we should have hit in the last episode. I think BJ is gonna recap on some of those big topics right now. So let's go on and transition.
League news.
All right, BJ, what you got?
So I want to hit some of the news that we didn't get to hit, that we didn't get to let y'all know. Tons of news. We played a couple weeks, so that means there's a ton more injuries to go through. Let's start off with some of the big ones. Nick Chubb, he's going to be out for the season. He has a broken leg. Just knee absolutely obliterated. They bring in Kareem Hunt. They signed Kareem Hunt. He's going to be paired with Jerome Ford. And then on the newer side of things, Trayvon Diggs, Cowboys superstar defensive back, torn ACL in practice during a 1v1 drill. Mike McCarthy says he stepped on his teammate's foot, and that's when it happened. He said it was a safe drill, just could have happened to anybody. Huge blow to the Cowboys' elite defense. Guys, your thoughts on that? How does it affect the Cowboys? Who steps up? Are they still contenders?
They are still contenders for sure. I have an interesting stat for you. So if you are a quarterback in the NFL and you line up to throw a pass and decide that you want to throw it directly into the ground, you get a passer rating of 39.0. And quarterbacks who targeted Trayvon Diggs so far throughout this season had a passer rating of 1.0. So essentially you're better off throwing that bitch straight into the dirt than throwing it at Trayvon Diggs. But yeah, man, it's an elite defense that loses an all-pro corner. You can't replace that, obviously. But if there was a position, or I guess a group on the field to where you could say yeah, we might be able to take a big injury here and be okay, it would probably be the secondary, because they've got a lot of depth there. And now, like I said, you don't just replace an all-pro, so they are going to miss him. There's going to be games to where you think damn, if Trayvon was out there, that might have turned out a little different. But the plan so far, from what I understand, is to move DaRon Bland from nickel corner to the outside, and Jordan Lewis, who just came back, is going to get bumped up into the slot. And something that's going to be interesting with that is, since Jordan Lewis did just get back, he only played 10 snaps last week, I think. So that's going to be interesting. They might work Izzy McQuamu, give him a decent chunk of the nickelback reps this week, I would assume. I don't think they're just going to throw Jordan Lewis to the fire like that. But yeah, I think Cowboys defense still elite, just not quite as deadly as it was.
Yeah, I agree. I think they will be fine. Like you said, you don't just replace an all-pro corner. But, I think Dallas defense is still going to be one of the best in the league without him. Prayers up to Trayvon Diggs. Hope he gets back healthy. moving on, we've had a couple injuries throughout the week. Those are kind of the two biggest ones. Avonte Maddox, the defensive back for the Eagles, he has a torn pec. He's gonna be on the out for the season. A couple other guys, still nursing some ankle injuries. You got Austin Eckler, you got Saquon Barkley, you got Aaron Jones, who all should be healthy in the coming weeks. No, nothing too serious, but just some minor injuries to look out for. And then Cam Akers. Shout out to Cam Akers. Finally free from the hands and wrath of Sean McVay. He was traded to Minnesota Vikings for a 2026 seventh round pick. I mean, about as far out in the years that you can trade a pick, and the last pick that you can trade. That's kind of what he was traded for. So, guys, for you Alexander Madison owners, how does this Cam Akers, trade affect his Alexander Madison's value? And obviously this is good for Cam Akers. I mean, more than 0 touches is obviously good. How does this affect Alexander Madison?
I don't know. Like I said, I would say probably just another committee backfield now. I mean, that's all I look into it as.
Yeah, I don't think I don't personally think Cam Akers is going to be like taking the starting job or anything, unless he's just fucking insane and Sean McVay's been a dickhead this whole time, keeping him on the bench. Like, it's probably still Alexander Madison's job, just not as much bell cow, not as much of a bell cow role.
Yeah, I agree. Alexander Madison hasn't gotten off to the best start. Especially fantasy wise, kind of been one of a huge disappointment. So you bring in Cam Akers. So I mean, the Vikings are like, you know what, we're not completely tanking right now. We're not completely tanking yet. We still have something, but we can't do shit when we have the worst run game in the league. So, bringing in Cam Akers for next to nothing, see if he can get in, bring a spark to him, maybe jolt something in Alexander Madison. Maybe Alexander Madison's like, you know what, I actually missed my backup role, my role where I came in as a second guy. I kind of missed that. So, who knows? We'll see. It's going to be exciting to watch. So far, that's really all I have. As far as the big news goes, did I miss anything, guys?
Nothing I could. Well, Anthony Richardson is out, correct? That's
Correct. Anthony Richardson out with a concussion. Bryce Young also he's going to be out with an ankle injury. Andy Dalton will be starting for him. I heard something that I thought was interesting. Someone had said, are the Panthers hiding behind an injury? Are they kind of letting because Bryce Young hasn't gotten off to the hottest start. He's been very quiet. Kind of looked a little bit, you've seen him lining up under the wrong guy, but about to take a snap. So are they kind of having Bryce Young, yeah, he has an injury, but maybe he sits back, watch a veteran like Andy Dalton, and then maybe come in and be like, okay, I got you now. Is that a situation y'all see happening, or am I tripping?
It's very possible, man. Rookie quarterback, they just kind of threw him to the fire. Maybe they did see a week or two of it, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, maybe you should watch this. You should watch the Red Rifle for a little bit, And at the same time, we organically tank a little bit, raise our draft picks a little bit higher. It's very plausible.
Yeah, I would say I could see them tanking. Like I said, definitely I mean, I don't think they're trying to go for Caleb Williams or anything because they just drafted Bryce Young, but I could see them probably going for Marvin Harrison Jr. or something, give him another weapon out there because he's looking like very other than Jonathan Mingo as a rookie, he doesn't really have too many other people he could throw to other than Adam Thielen.
Look, man, if the Panthers
DJ Moore would be nice.
If the Panthers find a way to tank enough to get Marvin Harrison Jr., like we as football fans, we need to unite, okay? We need to not let this happen. We need Marvin Harrison Jr. to get drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. And here in 3-4 years, when it's Arch Manning's time to come to the NFL, we need Arch Manning to get drafted by the Colts. Let's run this shit back. Manning to Harrison once again. Let's do this.
Oh,
that would be fire.
Repeat history.
That's all the news I have.
All right, nice job there, BJ. Let's go on ahead and move it on to the Thursday night recap.
Thursday night recap.
Thursday night football, San Francisco 49ers versus the New York Giants. New York traveled all the way across the country just to get that ass spanked on primetime television in front of the entire world. Man, y'all have any takeaways from that game you'd like to talk about?
They definitely missed Saquon. They could not get a run game started at all. I mean, Matt Breida, he got pretty good, I guess. Target. He came at. I mean, in our league, I think he came out with like 10 points. But you could definitely tell they really missed them because they couldn't really get their offense up and going. And I mean, it's hard to even do that against the 49ers. But I mean, when you're missing your key start, it's kind of hard to start it up and go.
There are some teams that I like to give the benefit of the doubt. The Giants really not one of them, but they made the playoffs last year. They won a playoff game. So they, in a way, showed that they can be talented. So when it's the first couple weeks of the season, I like to give, some people the benefit of the doubt. You didn't have Saquon. You didn't have your all-pro left tackle. You had to rely on, a bunch of young guys. Wandale Robinson had torn ACL last year. He's finally starting to get some reps. And then, you just got a bunch of slot receivers. And and you're going against the 49ers. So I kind of give them a little pass, but they still did not play well. But the play calling, I did not like the play calling. I did not like, and the 49ers, I don't even think the 49ers offense played all that well. Debo went absolutely crazy. He went bananas. But I don't know. Giants, I don't think the Giants are going to be good this year. But I think this game is we learned more about the 49ers than we did the Giants because the 49ers didn't look scary. They didn't look too scary is kind of what I got out of that game.
I think that's a pretty good takeaway. The two things that I kind of took away from it the most, first off, was the offense that Kyle Shanahan was kind of running. Like, it was just at or around the line of scrimmage for like literally everything. It's like every pass was either a screen or a swing route or like a short 5-ish yard completion, and then like their skill positions are just so good. It was just like, all right, I'm giving you the ball in space, now go do something. And that was just kind of their game plan. And I don't know if that works. Well, I mean, I guess it has worked. I was gonna say, I don't know if that works against better teams for a good chunk of the year, but it has worked. And why am I blanking on his name? Quarterback, the undefeated regular season. That's it. Brock Purdy completed his longest career pass in the NFL air yards wise. 27. It was like 25, 27, something like that. Longest air yards pass of his career. That was definitely something. The other thing I took away from that game, man, Debo looks like he's back to that form like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever it was, to where he was just give him the ball, and he's gonna like spin stiff arm a dude, and then he's gonna drop kick somebody, and like he's just gonna keep going. He's just going to the end zone. You can't fucking stop him, and that is terrifying. I don't like to see that. Along with Brandon Ayuk kind of making his strides and being the deep threat in the offense, and George Kittle's back and healthy for now. Christian McCaffrey's healthy for now. Like, they've got a lot of pieces, but I guess we'll see later into this season.
And can we talk about the fact that Trent Williams just can't seem to keep his fucking hands to himself? In the Super Bowl, I mean, the NFC Championship last year, he's punching on our players. He punched Richard Sherman. Now he's punching guys yesterday. Like, why is this dude allowed to get away with this kind of shit? I mean, the dude is 6'6", 380, bros. No one wants to fuck with you, bro. we chilling. We chilling, bro. It does not have to go there.
Isn't he like one of the top 3 strongest people in the league too? I know left tackle for sure.
I could see it. Don't know it for a fact, but Trent Williams is a fucking specimen. I do know that much. Like, if I get top 3 people in the league that I don't want to get punched by, Trent Williams is probably up there.
But no, I mean, it's just another observation that I made with the Thursday night games, just Daniel Jones. I mean, they paid him that huge contract to be their playmaker, and again, I know their offensive line was hurt, but it's just you could see he didn't want to take any real deep threats. He didn't have he didn't try hitting Jalen Hyatt. They were trying to tell he didn't hit really any of his receivers unless they were like maybe about, I think his longest pass was like what, 15 yards out, I think. But it's just big playmaker, and he's not really throwing it down the field either to any of his receivers. And that's kind of scary to see. Like I don't see the Giants winning any games against like any of like the superstar teams like the Eagles, Cowboys, uh, Chiefs, or anything like that. But I could see him getting some upsets, maybe to like the Steelers or the Raiders or teams like that. But again, we'll have to see as the season goes. But as of right now, I'm kind of still down on the Giants as it is. But I hope they surprise me.
I honestly thought their defense was playing pretty good. Like at the beginning of the game, the first quarter, I thought they was playing actually pretty good defense. But when your offense can't get anything going, and 3 and outs and just not being able to get points on the board, that just allows the 49ers offense and defense just to kind of play the game that they want to. So, shout outs to the Giants defense and, the first little bit of the game, but they just really kind of had no chance on the offensive side of the ball, missing left tackle and missing Saquon Barkley. I think they was also missing a guard too. So
That's all I got. I ain't got nothing else to add, or it's gonna get violent from my side. I'm gonna start having to cut shit out. So if we ain't got anything else, man, we are gonna move straight into pick'em. Let's keep it moving.
Pick 'em.
Week 3 edition of NFL Pick'em coming to you right here, Sunday morning jitters, baby. As you can see, we've got the records for everybody here. It's a tight race. BJ and Derek both tied at 22-11. That is including the Thursday night game that just happened, because I tweeted it. We all picked San Francisco. Nobody was bold enough to pick New York, and it paid off for all of us. So 22-11 from these two guys, and then 20-13. I'm right there, just waiting to pounce. Sitting there, just waiting for mistakes. Let's go ahead and kick it off, man. We've got we're gonna start off with the noon games. First game on the schedule is Indianapolis at Baltimore. Baltimore 8-point favorites at home. Derek, who you got?
I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens. I just like who are they going up against again?
Indy.
Indy, yeah, okay. Indy has, like I said, they don't have Anthony Richardson back again. He's out with the concussion, like we had in our news segment. I know Gardner Minshew, he is a good backup quarterback, so he's probably a better passer to get the receivers open a little bit. But I just like the Baltimore Ravens organization a lot better than the Indianapolis Colts as it is with Lamar. I mean, just Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is getting open. And as you've seen last week against Indianapolis Colts, like I said, they just can't stop any receivers or DBs. Seems like they can't stop the receivers. So it's going to be, I mean, Baltimore's missing OBJ, but I mean, again, you still have Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers. They're going to be getting open and probably scoring a lot more touchdowns.
yeah, I'm going with the Ravens. Even though the Ravens are missing a lot of players, Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be out. Justice Hill going to be out. I think Devin Duvernay he's going to play. Marlon Humphrey's still out. They're missing their center. They're missing their tackle. They're missing their safety. They are missing a ton of players. But the Colts are missing probably their most important player. So I think Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers do what needs to be does. You throw a little bit of Mark Andrews in there, and I think the offense can kind of carry the defense through this game.
Yep, I got Baltimore as well. We're going to make that one a clean sweep. Baltimore is just a more talented team pretty much across the board and more experienced. Anthony Richardson is going to be out, so that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that affects like Michael Pittman's fantasy value. See if that makes it go up a little bit if you've got more of the the prototypical pocket passer instead of a mobile quarterback. And you know what else is going to be fun in this game is watching the shorties, the rookie shorties this year from the draft. Josh Downs and Zay Flowers, man. That's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I don't think this game really is competitive whatsoever. I got Baltimore. Another noon game here. We got Tennessee at Cleveland, and Cleveland is 3-point favorites. Derek?
I'm going with Tennessee. I just again I didn't like we if our last segment wasn't corrupted, but Cleveland just doesn't look like I said. Now they're missing Nick Chubb, so now they're missing their big bruising running back. Like I said, Deshaun Watson looked like he's running around with a chicken with his head cut off. He can't really make decisions and to get his accuracy right and making big time throws. So I had, and flipping to the other side with Tennessee. Tennessee was chucking the ball down the field, so they were still handing off to Derrick Henry. Tennessee, I think, just probably has a better chance of pulling off the upset in Cleveland.
So I'm going Browns. Are the Titans favorite? The 3-point favorites?
Cleveland 3-point favorites, but it's a
Cleveland 3-point favorites.
Yeah, it's a home game for Cleveland though, so they're basically saying they're evenly matched because the home team is spotted at 3 points. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm going to go Browns. I'm going to take the favorites in this one. I think Deshaun Watson has a good game. Titans have one of the worst, secondaries against the pass. So I think Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore, they have a really good game. I think the Browns kind of, if they can take this game, that can kind of really push them into, division leaders. The Bengals don't look good. The Steelers haven't looked good. So if the Browns can, win this game, it'll really put them in the driver's seat with the Ravens and make that a very, good division race. And the Titans, I don't know. I think it'll be a close game. If the Browns can kind of shut down Derrick Henry, I think this will be a pretty, good game for the Browns.
I got news for you boys. This game is going to be boring as hell. Boy, this game is going to be ass. If you are looking for points to be scored and big plays, it's not going to be coming here. Both of these teams are tied for third in the league in rush yards allowed, for 130 yards allowed so far through 2 games. When I was looking over this, I really wanted to find a way to pick Tennessee, but I just do not think that Tennessee is a very good team at all, and I can't convince myself to do it, even with Cleveland dealing with a ton of injuries and also playing on a short week because of Monday Night Football. I still just can't convince myself to do it. I got Cleveland winning this one. Another noon game here, Atlanta at Detroit. Detroit are 3-point favorites.
I don't see why I'm always going first. No, it's all good, but I'm choosing Atlanta. I think Atlanta's on a roll. I think they are, they're just pounding the rock with Bijan. And not really much else I can say because I haven't really been able to watch too many games, but I think just Atlanta comes out and they're just on a roll.
I'm gonna go with the Lions, and I think this can be like a really, really fun game. You got Bijan Robinson on one side, you got Jahmyr Gibbs on the other side, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown versus Drake London, you got Desmond Ridder versus Jared Goff. You got offenses that can produce if the Falcons can get it together, involve their weapons and everything. But I really just hope, for the sake of this game and for me, that the coaches just give Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson 25 touches apiece and just let them go at it, please. But yeah, I'm taking the Lions in this.
Absolutely. That was the very first thing that was on my list too. Bijan and Gibbs on the field together. Let's get it. It's gonna be fun. And there's no money now to take away touches, so hopefully Jahmyr Gibbs gets some more reps. I got Detroit in this one. For basically everything that BJ just said, I feel like Atlanta is a very good team. Or they're better than they were last year, and I feel like they're going to win their division. But I think Detroit is just better, and they're the home team. So I got Detroit. New Orleans at Green Bay. Green Bay 1-point favorites. Derek, who do you like in this one?
I'm taking New Orleans again. I I just feel like Derek Carr, like I said this again, he's very underrated. He's been winning games. He's been managing games. He's just been winning. He's been chucking the ball deep. He's been throwing it down. So I think I mean not to say that Jordan Love isn't doing the same thing because I think Jordan Love I think is like top three in time in the pocket unpressured. So he has opportunities to dish the ball out because Green Bay's O line is very good and protects them. But I still think Derek Carr is going to come out with with a little bit more experience and still hand the ball out. So New Orleans is my pick.
I actually had made this pick right before the show, and I went with the Saints, but I'm changing it now. I'm going with the Packers actually because Derek Carr has not looked great. Michael Thomas has looked good, but Derek Carr has not looked great. And the Packers, I think they can, secure this. I think this is in Green Bay as well. So I think in Lambeau Field, the Packers, they have a bounce back game. They bring it out. Aaron Jones might play. Christian Watson might play. So I think they can kind of. I think they. I have a really good feeling. I think I'll take it Packers.
I got the Packers winning this one as well, man. This is kind of like the Tennessee Cleveland game from earlier. It's where I was trying to convince myself to pick New Orleans, but I don't like Derek Carr. I don't think he's very good, and I don't trust anything that's led by Derek Carr. So if Aaron Jones is coming back, really that's all it takes for me to pick Green Bay because he's just elite. So give me Green Bay in this one. If he misses though, that could be scary. But I'm just gonna bank on that he's playing. Moving on, Houston at Jacksonville. Jacksonville 8-point favorites. Derek.
Hey, I gotta go with the Prince, like I said, in Jacksonville. He is I think just Arizona again is a very bad team, so I think Jacksonville is just gonna come out and just beat the brakes off of them.
Did you say Arizona?
Is it Arizona?
Houston.
Oh, never mind. Even then, it's still Houston. Houston's still horrible.
Yeah, so it's still same concepts, but it's a different team.
Either way, Houston's still a horrible team right now. I mean, CJ Stroud has been getting a lot better over the games compared to, I said, Bryce Young. So just even then, just CJ Stroud, I just don't believe in him just yet. I think he's still going through growing pains with his team. And Jacksonville already has like a solidified contending team. I'm going to have to go with Jacksonville.
Yeah, good points there. It's kind of why I took Jacksonville too. This is a divisional game, an early divisional game. And I think that, Jags, they've been here before. They've had playoff games. They kind of know what it takes. They know what this game means. I think they're going to come out. They're going to come out sharp. Jags just coming off a disappointing loss against Kansas City. Huge loss for them. I think they're going to come out. They're going to put the business to them. They're going to play good on both sides of the ball. And CJ Stroud's playing good for the Texans, but they're still trying to figure things out over there. So I'll take Jags and pretty easily.
I got Jacksonville winning this one as well, man. Also, I need to start going before BJ because he takes literally everything that I'm going to say and just does it before I do. So, the Texans are just so overmatched here in terms of talent, and the Jaguars are a team that are going to be in the conversation, I think, for AFC representation of the Super Bowl, in the conversation at least. Definitely division winners, but yeah, man, they're coming off that L to KC, so I think they're hungry, trying to get back in the winner's bracket. Moving on to a game that's going to be kind of interesting. Denver at Miami. Miami 6.5-point favorites.
Oh, I'm going with Miami. I said I can't. As of right now, I haven't seen anything that discourages me from picking Miami to not beat Denver. Russell is. I want to say Russell's kind of getting back to back to his Seattle days, but he's still not just there yet. But Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill with Jalen Waddle, it's just a different just a different monster over there. And then plus, I like Miami's defense. Miami's defense has been getting to the quarterback a lot of pressures, and so I think it's going to keep Russell scrambling, running around with the chicken with the head cut off, and that's why I see Miami uh, winning this game.
Yeah, I'm going Miami, and I'm really really close to like being completely out on Denver. I usually try not to overreact to the first couple weeks, but man, they still are disappointing. And right now, Tua is like on fire right now. Him and Tyreek, they're on fire. I know Tyreek kind of had a down game, but you know that tends to happen sometimes. It let everybody else eat. Raheem Mostert went off last week, so you know you just win how you win. Yeah, I got Miami, and I think Denver falls to 0-3.
That one's gonna be a clean sweep, man. This was an easy pick for me. Denver has been incredibly disappointing this season. I also thought they were gonna have a bounce back season, but what's supposed to be their strong suit in their defense, so far this year they are 21st in passing yards allowed, and now they're going up against arguably the most explosive offense in the NFL, and Tua is on fire right now. So yeah, give me no part of Denver here. I want Miami all day. And let's keep it moving. LA Chargers at Minnesota. Minnesota 1 point favorites. This is going to be a fun one.
Me, I am choosing Minnesota. I think Justin Jefferson,
Oh,
he's tired of losing. I think Kirk Cousins, like I said, they're probably because they, as you saw last game, they were having that big connection. They were having a bunch of connections over the Eagles, but I think Minnesota's probably going to get tired of losing and start winning some games. That's all I got to say. So because it's just because I haven't really seen anything from the Chargers to think that they're going to upset Minnesota, definitely at home.
so this one is going to be a fun game. I mean, I can definitely see an offensive explosion in this game. Austin Eckler is out; he will not play. Joshua Kelly is going to get the start. Um, I said it last week whenever the Vikings played the Eagles. I said Justin Jefferson probably will have 200 yards on us, and they're still going to lose. And I'm going to say the same thing again. Justin Jefferson might have 200 yards, and they're still going to lose. They're just it's going to be hard for them to win games. Last year they was winning close games. This year they lost every single close game they've been in. I'm gonna take the Chargers. I know the defensive side of the ball is super porous, and they're going to let those weapons on the other side eat, but I think they can, outscore them.
Those are good points, man. But I'm with Derek on this one. I'm also taking the Minnesota Vikings at home. And this is definitely the most fun matchup of the week. It is going to be an absolute blast because both teams are fucking awful at playing defense against offenses in the NFL. It's going to be incredible. The LA Chargers are dead last in passing yards allowed. And the New York Giants, who have played 3 games, have only allowed 5 more yards than the LA Chargers. I don't think it can be put into words how bad the Chargers secondary has been through the first 2 weeks of the NFL season. Minnesota is 29th in rushing yards allowed, and they're giving up 4.1 yards per carry, so that they could get it done on the ground a little bit. Yeah, I'm taking Minnesota, but I would say if you have any Chargers or Vikings in fantasy football, start them. Like I really don't give a shit if it's a third. I'm starting KJ Osborne this week because fuck it, why not? They're gonna put up 70 points apiece. So let's get it. New England at the New York Jets. The Jets are 2.5-point home dogs.
I am going to go with New England. I've been liking the way they've been playing the game. I know the Jets they have a really good defense, but I think New England is going to come in and upset them.
Well, it's not an upset, they're favorite.
Oh, New England's favorite? Oh, yeah. I thought Jets are favorite. Oh, never mind then. Hey, it's not an upset. I think they're going to come in and beat them then, like I said. But I think Mac Jones to the Hunter Henry, he's been getting his shots in. Juju, I guess I got to eat my words on Juju. Juju's been kind of doing a little bit, but it's just, not even to mention Ramondre Stevenson. He's been putting in work on the ground and in the air. So I gotta go with New England.
So this is like one of those games that I compare to the Texans and the Jags, and the fact that the Patriots know how big. Not saying they're on the same level, but
Oh,
the Patriots understand how big this game is. Like the Jags understand how big it is to win their division game. So I think the Patriots they're going to come out sharp, and I don't know that how scary is that Jets defense? How much confidence are they playing with? Do they still think they're gonna, get Aaron Rodgers back in the playoffs? I don't think so, but maybe are they playing like they are? I don't know. I'm gonna take the Patriots. I don't feel too confident about it. I just think they come in, Bill Belichick have them ready to handle business to get out of there with a maybe an ugly win.
it's I like the logic behind y'all's pick. I really do. Like I could very much see a world where Bill Belichick escapes and out of MetLife Stadium and pulls off a win. But I am taking the New York Jets, man. It's kind of interesting how similar these teams are so far. It's only been 2 weeks, but New England is 12th in pass yards allowed, and the Jets are 19th in pass yards allowed. The Jets are 20th in rushing yards allowed, and the Patriots are 23rd in rush yards allowed. And I mean, Bill Belichick is a defensive-minded coach. Like he's just kind of a genius. But I think the Jets' defense is better. They're younger, more athletic, more talented, just kind of all around the board. And there's some strikers. So yeah, as long as Zach Wilson just doesn't give the game away, then I think the Jets win this. Moving
That was my
on.
One
big.
more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
One more thing. Dalvin Cook is ass. I need to say that Dalvin Cook is fucking ass. Like I understand that last week that him and Brees Hall really didn't get that many touches, but oh my gosh, he does not have no explosiveness. He does not have any agility. He does not have the tackle breaking. I don't know if that run game for the Jets can't help out Zach Wilson. I don't know.
I mean, but they were going against Dallas, so that's a very hard thing to do. And I know they weren't going to
Yeah,
play
I,
Brees
I
Hall against
understand.
that because I mean they were going to play Brees Hall against it, so it was like I mean Brees Hall is just coming back from an injury. Might as well not feed him to the lions of the feed him to the lions or feed him to the wolves of the Dallas defense and get him crushed up and bang up his knee again. They saw what happened to Nick Chubb, but that's one. It's just I can see why that happened, but it's just again it's just I think the run game is there. I just don't believe enough in Wilson to pick the Jets for myself.
You know what kind of did make me pick the Jets was watching him play against the Cowboys because like it's not like he balled out or anything, but I think he threw one pick and I was like, you know what? You didn't fuck up that bad this game. Maybe I have not zero faith, but like 0.1% faith that you can pull this off. So that might be all it takes to beat the Patriots.
Hey, maybe.
Moving on, Buffalo at Washington. Washington 6-point home dogs. Derek, who do you like in this one?
Ooh, I like this game a lot, but I'm gonna have to go with Buffalo. I think Buffalo's gonna come into Washington and just. I think if as long as Josh Allen doesn't do what he did week one, just throw a bunch of interceptions, I think Josh Allen is gonna come in and dart up the field against Washington.
Like, you can't control Josh Allen. Josh Allen does what Josh Allen
That's
does.
what Josh
You want to see me throw a football over the mountains?
Hey,
What time is this game?
It's a noon game.
I'll take the Bills. If it was in prime time, I think Josh Allen would try to show out and throw some picks, but um, I'll take the Bills. Yeah, but shout out Sam Howell. Shout out Eric Bieniemy over there in Washington. They're kind of doing their thing. If they stay low key like they've been doing, don't fuck up. Don't be in the news. Don't do anything weird in the front office. Just keep playing your game. Then, maybe at the end of the season, y'all start getting that little hype. Maybe we'll be like, oh, okay, maybe they might get that 7th seed. Who knows? But I'm taking the Bills in this one.
Well, you don't have to worry about front office shenanigans that much anymore since Dan Schneider's not there anymore, right? But yeah, man, I got Buffalo winning this one as well. I think coming into the season, said that I thought Washington was going to be a decent team, but they're not going to compete with the big dogs, and Buffalo, as of right now, is one of the big dogs. So, you're not going to beat a team like this. If you put Washington against, a lot of the other teams in the NFL who are contenders, I think they got a chance at winning. But against teams like this, they're outmatched. Give me Buffalo. And let's move it on to the 3:00 games. Very first one, we're going to talk about Chicago at Kansas City. Kansas City, 12.5-point favorites. Derek, are you brave enough to pick the Chicago Bears?
No, absolutely not. I'm going with Casey. I'm going with Casey on this one. Like I said, they just got Travis Kelce back. They're still working him in, of course, but they looked good against the Jags. So they were hitting, like I said, going out. They didn't have too much of a run game, but I could see. I mean, Kansas City's a throwing team anyway, so I think that Casey's going to come in and beat the Bears because I just don't like how. Again, I know it's just a little bit of pressers and stuff, but Justin Fields isn't looking like the Justin Fields last year. He isn't using his legs. He is very robotic out there, and he needs. I just go back to what he's good at. But
did you say robotic on purpose?
Yeah, robotic.
The interview.
So,
yeah.
Just to give you guys a little, summary of what's been going on with the Bears. Justin Fields kind of called out his coaching, saying he was playing robotic because maybe his coach is having him think too much about things. I don't know, Justin Fields. Maybe we're trying to help you develop as a fucking passer. I don't know. Maybe we want you to be better than just run the fucking ball. I understand you like to run the ball, but Justin, we need you to also pass the ball efficiently. I don't know. It's kind of just felt like, but Justin Fields wants to play his game. I get it. As a Justin Fields fantasy manager, I would love for this dude to run for 200 yards a game. But, so much shit has been going on with the Bears. The defensive coordinator has just resigned. There was word that his house maybe got raided. That has not been confirmed. But so much shit has been going on with the Bears this week. It's hard for me to pick them. And I'm not going to. I'm going to take the Chiefs, but man, I just hope maybe the Bears find something deep down they can pull out to just try to put a competitive game together.
Oh, they're gonna have to dig deep down into their bag of tricks to make this game competitive, man. I really didn't even know what the fuck to write down as talking points. Like, it's Kansas City versus the Bears. I don't know what to talk about. Kansas City is just better. This ain't gonna be a game. I got KC. Carolina at Seattle, another 3:00 game. Seattle 6-point favorites.
Seattle versus who again?
Carolina.
I'm gonna go with Seattle. Seattle has just, again, Bryce Young isn't playing. He's hurt. They got the Red Rifle Andy Dalton, but I haven't seen enough of Andy Dalton over the years to actually be like, oh, okay, I actually believe in him.
If you saw enough, you wouldn't believe in him. That wouldn't be your takeaway.
But still, I just think the Carolina is very juvenile team right now, and Seattle, I think, just has a better chance. And I mean, just they let who was it? Tony Parker. Was it Tony Parker from the Broncos?
Spurs?
Huh?
The Spurs?
Is it Tony?
You talking about Tony Jones, the Saints?
Tony Jones, yeah. Was this? Yeah. Tony Jones.
I think that's his name, something like that. Fuck if I know, third or fourth.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, they let the running back from the Broncos, like I said, put a bunch of points on him, and I think K9, he's definitely a better runner than some backup running back, and so I think just Seattle's gonna run all over him, establish a run enough to just open up the field and just dart everywhere. And like I said, Gino's going to be throwing at JSN. He's going to have a field day out there. So I'm picking Seattle.
Yep, I'm gonna go Seattle too. But I think fantasy manager could feel a little bit more comfortable about their Panthers weapons. With Andy Dalton out there, I think that kind of the only thing that Andy Dalton will provide, maybe a little bit more stability in the position, maybe. But yeah, I'm taking Seattle on this one.
It's going to be a sweep. I got Seattle as well, man. This is just a hard game for Carolina. It's an explosive offense, and they're going into a hostile environment there in Seattle. Playing against the 12th man. Cry Aggies fans, they're the 12th man. Yeah, it's just there's not a whole lot to it. I think Seattle's just better. Now we're moving on to the last 3:00 game of this week. Dallas at Arizona, who, just like the KC Chicago game, Dallas is 12.5 point favorites, but Dallas is the road team. So yeah.
I guess I don't have to say much. Just Dallas is gonna come in, establish their defense, say this is our house now, and kick them and tell them to go home. That's how it's gonna go. I'm picking Dallas.
I'm going Dallas. Let's just hope that they don't cut the game off too early.
Yeah, this is a bad time to be a Cardinals fan because the Cowboys, well, before the Trayvon Diggs injury, we were this close to being back 100% because Brandon Cook's coming back this week. Tyler Biadasz, I don't think is supposed to miss time. Donovan Wilson's coming back. Even with Trey being out, even if Zach Martin decides that, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna sit out a week. Like, there's really not a whole lot. I think, now that I think about it, I'm kind of scared because this could be some trap game. The Cardinals have been feisty this year, but the Cowboys have been handling their business against teams that they should handle their business against. So I'm gonna confidently pick the Cowboys and hope this doesn't bite me in the ass later. Sunday Night Football, Pittsburgh at Las Vegas. Las Vegas 3-point home favorites. Derek, who do you like?
I'm picking the Las Vegas Raiders. I think just Jimmy G and his offense is gonna go out there, and I mean you got Devontae Adams, so I just think he's just that elite of a player that he's just gonna just over. I mean the Steelers got Joey Porter Jr., so they're gonna match him 1-on-1 against Devontae, but I think Devontae is gonna smoke him out. So I'm gonna get Jimmy and the Las Vegas Raiders.
I had to check the Steelers schedule because I was like, didn't we just fucking see the Steelers in prime time, bro? Now we're gonna have to watch them again. Holy shit!
I checked the schedule when I wrote it down. I was like, bro, I swear, did I fuck something up here? I thought we just saw these dudes.
Oh gosh, no way do I want to see this Steelers offense again. I'm going Raiders, and Steelers just haven't looked good on the offense side of the ball. I mean, George Pickens, he looks good. Jalen Warren, he looks good, but it's just not enough. It's not enough. TJ Watt looks good on the other side of the ball. You know, the defense are going to do what the defense do. The offense just doesn't look good. I'm going to take the Raiders with the healthy Devontae Adams back and Jimmy Garoppolo.
I'm also picking the Las Vegas Raiders, man. I don't really like either team that much. I don't really believe in Jimmy G. Don't really believe in Kenny Pickett. Both offenses are pretty stale, and these teams are actually pretty similar. Neither defense can stop the run. Pittsburgh has given up 413 yards rushing, and Las Vegas has given up 433 through 2 games. So, I'm picking the home team here, and I also feel like the Raiders' offense is just a hair better than the Steelers. I want to say it might be more than a hair. Like, Steelers' offense has been bad. So, yeah, give me Vegas. Let's move it on over Monday Night Football. We got 2 games again, which, I thought was kind of trash, but I'm not going to lie. Being able to get off of one trash game last week and go to another trash game was kind of nice. So maybe I'm coming around to the two primetime game thing. We're going to start it off. The early game, Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay opening up at 4.5 point home dogs.
So I think Tampa Bay is going to come out and win against the Eagles. I think this is going to be one of those, if you're an Eagles fan, I think this is going to be one of those upsets that you're going to be a little sore about, because I think, as you saw from Baker last week, he kind of put on a clinic with Mike Evans, and then you have Chris Godwin too. It's just, again, picking out who's going to be better in fantasy, but Chris Godwin, he's a beast as well out there. And as you saw with the Eagles against the Vikings, they're kind of, their secondary is, like I said, a little banged up. I don't know if anybody's came back yet, but Tampa Bay, those elite wide receivers are going to put on a field day out there. So my pick is Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Mike Evans did look scary against the fucking Bears. Oh, I don't give a fucking shit. We're not the fucking Bears. Darius Slay is good. James Bradbury's coming back. Reed Blankenship's coming back. And Jalen Hurts, I think, is about to go crazy this game, and as well as AJ Brown, because the last time we saw the Bucks was the 2021 playoffs, and after that game, they said Jalen Hurts can't read a fucking defense. So I think Jalen Hurts definitely has this game circled. This is going to be a blowout. I'm taking Eagles. We're gonna lose.
Interesting. Yeah, I got Tampa getting it upset here too, man. Philly, man, they're a 2-0 football team and they should be respected because they got a lot of talent. But also at the same time, if you've watched the games, Philly has not been exactly what you thought coming into the season. First off, let's go ahead and get this out there. It's funny that you mentioned we're not the fucking Bears. Philadelphia is 31st in passing yards allowed, and that's only because the Chargers exist. They're 14 yards behind the Chargers in pass yards allowed, and they've given up 7 passing touchdowns, which is the most in the NFL. Philly does have the number 1 rush defense as of now because San Francisco just played, but Tampa Bay is number 2 with 4 more yards than Philly. Man, if you own Chris Godwin or Mike Evans, I would be putting them in your lineup very comfortably this week and running with it. And I got Tampa getting an upset against Philly. Let's move on. The LA Rams is Cincinnati. Cincinnati 3-point favorites. Derek, who do you like in this one?
Oh, with this one, I gotta go along with the hype train a little bit for myself. My pick is the Rams. I think the Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua connection is there. It's not just like he's just getting receptions; he's getting some yards too. I think he pulled up over 100 yards, like I said last game. And just if you went up against them, which I did, and I was very upset because I was like, "Damn, I'm actually going to win this weekend." And Puka put up a 30 bomb in our league.
Puka
So I
on
think,
your chest.
yeah. Yep. So I just like that. I mean, again, the Rams, they got rid of Cam Akers and they're going more with Williams, and so it's they seem like they know what they want to do. They're still missing Cooper Kupp, but again, I think they've moved around their offense and taken it to accommodation of Kupp missing, and I think the LA Rams are going to come out and win.
If Joe Burrow doesn't play, I'm going to regret this pick because he did, I think, come back a little bit for practice, but nothing fully. But I'm going to take Bengals just off the strength that I just don't think they're going to fall that low in the standings. I think they're still going to be competitive this year. I think they're just kind of waiting for Joe Burrow to get back to himself. And hopefully this is kind of one of the games that can jumpstart it. I just don't want to pick the Rams to beat the Bengals. I just don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, that's why I had a hard time picking the Rams over the Bengals as well, but I fucking did it anyway because the Bengals have been awful. I got the Rams winning this one, man. I just really feel like Cincinnati is a much better team coming into the season. Everybody thought the Rams were just out on a ship floating in the ocean by themselves. Like, it's done. The season's over before it starts. And then, here comes Puka Nacua, and here comes Tutu Atwell, and here comes Matt Stafford. Well, Matt Stafford hadn't been great, but, they've been feisty. They've been feisty this year, putting up good fights. And Burrow's still dealing with that calf, man. That shit ain't going away. Their offense has been in a bit of a funk. Defense for the Bengals, though, is 31st in rush yards allowed and 31st in passing yards allowed. So their defense has been fucking awful. So give me the Rams here. And that's it, boys. We made it through our pick'ems. Do you have any regrets?
No, I do not.
No.
Super confident.
I love
I'm
my
good to
picks.
go.
You got to be confident with your picks. And even though I think in the first like what 12 o'clock games. We had like what three of them that, yeah, like I said, I'm by myself in it, but I'm confident. I'm confident in my picks.
All right, I like that. Let's go on and move it over, man. Fantasy football must starts.
Fantasy football must starts.
If you're new here to the Sunday Morning Jitters podcast, this is the segment of the week where we go around, we're going to pick the best matchup. Sometimes it's a player that you can find on waivers. Sometimes it might be somebody who's been struggling, who we need to say, you need to have confidence in this player this week. He's going to bounce back. We're giving you an idea of where you should go with some of your players or who you should look for on the waiver wire. And we go position by position. We're going to give you a quarterback, a running back, a receiver, and a tight end. So let's go on and start it off with BJ. Who did you pick as your quarterback must start this week?
Yes, like you said, those guys that kind of been struggling, maybe they already on your roster, but maybe they've been struggling and you're like, I don't know what to do with this guy. I'm going to tell you, Deshaun Watson is my quarterback start of the week. They're going up against the Titans, who, has one of the worst, passing defenses in the league. I think they're going to be good. That's why I'm going to Deshaun Watson. I also picked them to beat the Titans, so that lines up.
Derek, who you got, man? Quarterback.
Quarterback. I was kind of tied in between two. I was gonna either say Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, it's very easy because again he's going against Houston, and Dak Prescott because he's going against Arizona. Those are very, again, they're going against these sorry defenses. But I mean, if you have either one of those two, you might as well start them. They're gonna produce fantasy points for you because again, those defenses are just horrible.
All right, I went with Kirk Cousins for my start of the week versus the LA Chargers. He's been flying under the radar his entire career. I always felt like Kirk Cousins has been pretty good, but this year, it's only been 2 weeks, obviously, but Kirk Cousins is the QB2 as of right now. My man's putting up numbers, okay? He's thrown for 708 yards, 6 touchdowns, and a pick in these 2 games. And he's going to be in a high-scoring game with the LA Chargers, who are dead last in pass yards allowed. Start Kirk Cousins, and you will reap the benefits. Let's move on. Running backs. BJ.
So I cheated. I went with 2, and I went with 2 of the running backs in the same game. I went Bijan and I went Jameer, just because I am super excited about this game. I think this could be a RB1 overall, RB2 overall on the week type of performance from both of them. So, obviously you're going to start these guys, but RB1 and RB2.
Like I said, so my pick for the week is going to be Kenneth Walker from the Seattle Seahawks. They're going up against the Panthers. Again, the Panthers, I said they let Tony Jones from New Orleans, who was, I said again, basically nobody, run up and run 10 points on them. So if you're thinking a nobody from nowhere is going to come in and do better than Kenneth Walker in that offense that they have, I think you're mildly, you got something mildly wrong with your brain. I think Kenneth Walker is going to come in and just run a clinic on them until they start focusing more on them and then open up the field. So Kenneth Walker is my pick for starting running back.
That's funny. I almost picked Kenneth Walker. But instead of picking Kenneth Walker, I went with Josh Jacobs. And now I know what the fuck your smart asses are saying. But Tyler, Josh Jacobs went in the first round of my fantasy draft. Look, all right. Josh Jacobs has been the RB30 on the year so far, all right? So I know if you drafted him in the first round or 2, you're panicking. You were having a mental breakdown, and I get it, okay? But just hear me out. This is the week that he bounces back, all right? Pittsburgh has allowed the most rushing yards in the league and a 5.6 yard per carry average. So this game should be pretty decently even. So, I'm expecting him to get a few targets as well as a healthy average. And I think he finally gets into the end zone for the first time this year. Maybe in for an RB1 performance type of week. My lock is Josh Jacobs. Let's move it on. Wide receivers. BJ, who do you like?
I am going to take the stack. I'm going to pair Deshaun Watson with Elijah Moore. I just feel really good about the passing attack that the Browns are going to bring to the Titans. If with Jerome Ford kind of in the backfield, Tennessee has one of the better run defenses. I think they're going to look to pass the ball a lot more than they're going to run, and I think Elijah Moore is going to be a beneficiary of that.
My wide receiver pick of the week is Brandon Cooks. He's coming off an injury, but again, I think he's going to come back with a vengeance because he's like, man, I missed a good game last week, uh, and he's going to come and just storm up the field and go down. I think he's gonna. I'm not gonna say he's gonna match CD Lamb, but I feel like he's going to come in and put up a decent amount of points and be that complimentary piece that he was drafted or that he was traded for.
I hope so.
So real quick,
go ahead.
Real quick, Derek, you have Brandon Cooks, so you're starting him, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Put your money where your mouth is, and I hope that comes true because I put a prop bet down on Brandon Cooks at plus 1900 2 anytime touchdown. So let's make it happen, baby. Big week. I got Mike Evans for my start of the week versus Philadelphia, and I'm sure it'll be Chris Godwin who balls out because anytime I pick Godwin or Evans, it's the other one who goes insane. So Mike Evans has started off incredibly hot this year. He is the wide receiver 5, and he's got 12 receptions for 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's off to a great start. Philly secondary is banged up, and they're not doing well at all. As we went over earlier, they've allowed 652 yards, which is just behind the Los Angeles Chargers. Excuse me, I'm old. And they've allowed 7 touchdowns, which is the most in the NFL. I expect Godwin's and Evans to both be cooking. So really, if you have either one of them, you can start them. But I'm going to go with the hot hand here and take Mike Evans. Let's move it on to tight ends. BJ, who do you like?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to take a different pass catcher on the Buccaneers. I'm going to take Cade Otton. Everyone's like, who the fuck is Cade Otton? Cade Otton is a tight end. Like, why would you pick a tight end? Listen, I'm going to stick to my guns. I do not believe the Eagles are good against tight ends. TJ Hawkinson kind of went crazy on us. I forgot Hunter Henry went crazy on us. So I think we're very susceptible to tight ends. We're missing some important linebackers. Our linebacker core is very weak. We've been getting killed in the middle of the field. So that's kind of where a lot of the yards have come from. I'm taking Cade Otton. Anytime touchdown, bang it.
Already, like I said, I can't disagree with that. But my tight end pick of the week is Evan Ingram. Again, Trevor Lawrence is going up against, like I said, the Houston Texans. Houston Texans are I don't know how many times I got to say this, but very bad team as of right now. And Evan Ingram, he got that big contract, 3 years. So he's there for a while, and he's going to be putting up some points. So I think Evan Ingram is going to have a field day this week.
I like that pick. That's a good pick. I went with Taysom Hill for the New Orleans Saints. If your league has him as a tight end, because he might be a quarterback. Who knows? It depends on your league. But this is less about matchup and more just about usage for me. I do think it's going to be a pretty close game, so he's going to be somewhat decently involved the entire game. Because, Taysom will come out at quarterback. He'll play running back. He'll play tight end. He'll play wide receiver. He'll be water boy. He'll be towel boy. He'll be dishwasher. It don't fucking matter. Taysom Hill does it all. And the more that you do, the more fantasy points you acquire throughout a game. Tight end is the hardest position to get consistent value out of, so Taysom is a smart pick because of his unique utility. He had 9 carries for 75 yards, as well as a reception for -1, but it's still a point for PPR. And Jamal Williams is going to be out, so Taysom provides a pretty safe floor with a pretty high ceiling, in my opinion. Taysom Hill. All right.
Speaking of that game, Kendrick Miller is supposed to play. Now, I don't think he's going to get any kind of workload, but let's keep our eyes on Kendrick Miller.
For sure. If you're in a redraft and you have a spot where maybe you've got somebody who's been underperforming or you have an injured player that you're trying to hold on to, it might be worth dropping him and just scooping up Kindred for this week just in case he does go crazy or he looks good. And you've got him on the roster already and you don't have to fuck with it later because it's a lot better to have him on the roster locked in a week early than a week too late when you have to fight and just hope that your waiver order lines up or dish a bunch of fab out, one of the two. Well, thank y'all so much for joining the Sunday Morning Jitters podcast, the Week 3 preview edition. We appreciate all of you for being here. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you go down to Spotify, down to the YouTubes. Make sure you drop a follow, you subscribe, whatever you got to do to keep up. Turn on your little notification bell so you know every time we put an episode out. You see the Twitter down there? Follow it all, baby. Thank y'all so much for being here. Peace out.